Guys, I've been a real estate investor since 2006, and I've been an entrepreneur since ninth grade. That's 3 decades of entrepreneurship. In every business and every deal that I've done, I've never borrowed money from the bank. I use creativity and imagination. Today, I'm going to talk about what is the difference between subject to and wrap. I have a couple of students doing a deal right now, and they were kind of confused. They were like, "Hey, Mike, what is the difference between a subject to and a wrap?" Simply put, a subject to is when the seller just deeds you the property or conveys the title to you, okay, the deed to you, and you become the rightful owner. But the problem with that is that if you default, if you don't make the payments, the seller has no remedy. Again, the seller has no remedy to take the property back because you didn't give him any instruments for him to take the collateral back. So the only way he can take the collateral back is by suing you, okay? Now, a wrap is just like a subject to. The only difference is that at the title company, when the dust clears, when the closing clears, I'm giving the seller a DOT, deed of trust. What is that? That's a collateral instrument that I'll sign, that I pledge the property to the seller in case I default. At the title company, when we're signing the paperwork, I am signing a non-recourse note that says that, hey, Mr. Seller, if I happen to default, which I'm not going to, you can come back and take the property, but you're not going to be able to come back and hit me on my credit or my company EIN number, okay? So the collateral is all you can get, okay? So one of the major differences between a wrap and a subject to is the wrap, you're giving the seller a remedy. You're giving them a deed of trust that says, look, if I default, you can use this instrument to foreclose on me and take back the collateral. But at the same time, I'm negotiating a non-recourse loan, which says, look, if I do default, you can't come after me personally. You can only take the collateral. The only difference with a subject to and a wrap is that you're not providing with the subject to the seller a remedy. If you default, the seller has to sue you to get the property back. But on the wrap, you're giving the seller an exit strategy. If you default, you're saying, look, you can use this instrument, take it to an attorney's office, and literally foreclose on me in 30 days or 60 days or whatever the terms are. So simply put, guys, there's a big difference between a wrap and a subject to, but at the same time, there's a lot of similarities. The similarities is that you don't need to qualify for a loan. You don't need a big down payment. You don't have to pay all that junk fees of closing costs. You don't have to pay all that junk fees of amortization. If the sellers own the property, let's say 7 years, now when I start making the payments on the mortgage, most of it is going to principal reduction versus interest because of the amortization. So there's a lot of benefits between buying property, seller financing, creative financing, subject to a wrap. So they look very similar, but there's one or a couple of major differences is that with subject to, the seller has no remedy. If you default, all he can do is sue you to get the property back. With the wrap, you're giving the seller a remedy. You say, look, here's a deed of trust. I pledge the property as collateral. Since you're doing owner financing with me, since you're doing seller financing, since you're doing a wrap, since you're doing a subject to, and if I default, you can take the collateral back. So which one is better? Well, you're going to spend a little bit more money, right? With the wrap, you're going to have, you got to pay an attorney to write you a non-recourse loan. You got to have the attorney draft you a deed of trust. You got to have, so it's a little bit more complex. Where on a subject to, I can just say, hey, just here's a deed me the property, and then file it at the county clerk's office, and that's it. I start making the payments on the seller. Okay, so simplicity, subject to is a little bit more simple. Risk-wise, subject to is a lot more riskier because you're not giving the seller an alternative if you don't perform, if you don't do what you promise, if you don't make the payments on the property. On a wrap, it's a little bit more complex, but you're giving the seller more security, okay? Because if you default, if you don't perform, the seller has a remedy, okay? But overall, it's literally almost the same thing because I'm getting to own a property without qualifying, without using my credit, without using down payment, without paying all the junk fees of title company. I can just step into the seller's shoes and take over their mortgage. The longer they've been in that mortgage, the better it is for me because more of that principal reduction is going to be starting to happen. So there's a lot of benefits with seller financing, but in this video, I wanted to do a quick comparison between subject to and wrap. And the way that I structure the deals, the way I teach my students to structure deals, doesn't matter where they are, is go to the title company or go to an attorney and do a wrap versus a subject to, because you're giving the seller remedies in case you default. You know, like no one wants to default, but what if you're just driving down the street and you get run over by a car, right? And you're dead. So then that way, they don't have to sue your family member to get the property. They can just take it over by assuming that your family doesn't make the payments on the property by foreclosure. Anyways, guys, don't take no for an answer. If you're interested in subject 2, go to myrealestatedojo.com and download my course totally for free. I usually sell it, but I'm giving it away totally for free. myrealestatedojo.com, click on start now, and you can download it. If you're interested in working with me direct, I have 2 coaching programs. If you're new, you may want to consider joining the Pal Leveling Brotherhood, where I give you access to all my courses plus monthly coaching for one-time fee for lifetime access. Or you can join the Let's Do a Deal. If you're also new, well, I'll work with you direct and we'll split the profits on deal. And if you're a pro and you're ready to systemize, you're ready to take your business to the next level, then you want to join my profit sharing coaching at myrealestatedojo.com. Don't take no for an answer, and always remember, you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and twice as beautiful as you ever imagined. Romy. Peace, guys.